Welcome everyone. We're about to begin Be'ezras Hashem together on Daf Kuf Yud Tes Amud Aleph, starting with Daf Kuf Yud Ches Amud Beis, 8 lines from the bottom. The Gemara had spoken out that Rebbe requested from Rabbi Yishmael, Rabbi Yosi, to then share with them certain things that their father Rabbi Yosi had stated. Says the Gemara, telling us the third thing that he had mentioned that his father had taught him. Oid sholach loy sholosh mois v'shishim v'chamisha shvokim bekrach godel sharoimi. There are 365 marketplaces in the metropolis of Rome. V'kol echod ve'echod hayu boi shlosh meosh v'shishim chamisha bironios. And each of these shvokim had 365 towers. V'chol bironis ubironis hayu boi sholosh meos v'shishim v'chamisha ma'alos. And each of one of these towers had 365 levels. V'kol mailo umailo hayu bo kidei lozun es kol ha'olam kuloi. And in each level there was enough food to feed the entire world. V'chol mailo Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yishmael said to Rabbi, V'amri lo Rabbi Yishmael bar Yosi. Some say it was Rabbi Yishmael bar Yosi that said to Rabbi, Hani leman, all of these foods that can fill the whole world and each level, to whom is it for? Omar le, Rabbi responded, Loch, for you, ulechavreich, and for your comrades, ulechavruseich, and for your comrades' comrades. Shenemar, it says in the Posuk, Sochra ve'etnona kodesh laHashem. Her merchandise and her payment for the harlot, kodesh laHashem, one day will be sanctified for Hashem. V'lo ye'otzer v'lo yechosein. It will not be in its treasure, and it will not be stored away. Ki liyoshvim lifnei Hashem yiyeh. The pasuk concludes, it will be for those who are sitting before Hashem. My lo ye'otzer. What is meant when it says it will not be treasured? It won't put it in the treasury. Tani of Yosef lo ye'otzer ze beis oitzer. It will not be in a beis oitzer, means that which is stored away for grain. V'lo yechosein. What does it mean? It won't be stored away. Ze beis geniza, won't be in a treasury. What's meant when it says for those who sit before Hashem? Who's that referring to? Rabbi Elazar on the top of Kuf Yud Tes Amud Aleph. This is referring to the one who's so constant in the yeshiva. He knows everybody's place. He's constantly there from the morning until the night. There are those that say, Rabbi Elazar, this is the one who is going to then receive his fellow man in the yeshiva. Says the Gemara, "My lemechase osik." What's meant at the end of this passage that we had just brought? The one who is mechase osik, the one who is covering up the atik, that which is ancient. Zeh hamechase dvorim shekise atik yoimim. This is the one who covers up that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu covered up. In other words, the Sisrei Torah that Gemara is going to explain. Umay ninhu Sisrei Torah, the Sisrei Torah that are Divrei Kabbalah. The Kabbalah that is the Sisrei Torah that's meant to be hidden, he also then hides it. V'ike da'amri, those that say, Ze'amegale dvorim shekise atik yoimin. These are the ones who reveal that which HaKadosh Baruch Hu first concealed with the intention of ultimately being revealed. So they revealed this type of Torah. Ma'ininu, what is that? Taimei Torah. This refers to the reasonings of the Torah. Says the Gemara, Omar Rav Kehane Mishum Rabbi Yishmael Rabbi Yosi. Again, we have a statement that Rav Kehane make, but this time named Rabbi Yishmael himself, in the name of his father. Rabbi Yishmael himself, the son of Rabbi Yosi. My dirsi, what's meant, Lam Natseach Mizmor LeDavid. Lamnatseach mizmor David zamru lemisha noitzchin oisa v'sameach. Lamnatseach refer to those who are menatseach, so to speak. They have a certain nitzachoin that Hashem allows them to have, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is still happy that they were menatseach him. What does that mean? Says the Gemara, Bo re'ei shelo ki midas HaKadosh Baruch Hu midas basar v'dam. Take a look at how HaKadosh Baruch Hu's midah is not like man's midah. Basar v'dam minitzachoin menatzchin oisoi ve'atziv. When one who is menatseach a person, that person becomes saddened that he conquered me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu noitzchin oisoi v'samech. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, he gives the power, the wherewithal for people to menatseach him, to conquer him, so to speak. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu is happy. The Gemara brings a proof. Shneimar, Vayomer lahashmidom, lulei Moshe bechiroi. The pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, if it wasn't for Moshe, my chosen one, that he was happy that Moshe Rabbeinu convinced him otherwise, he would have destroyed Klal Yisrael. Talking about after the Chet HaEgel. Omar beperetz lefonov. Moshe Rabbeinu, he stood up in the breach in front of him. Rav Kahana Mishum Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yosi. Again, another statement that Rav Kahana makes in the name of Rabbi Shmuel, the son of Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Shimon Lakish Mishum Rabbi Yehuda Nisiya. There are those that say as Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish in the name of Rabbi Yehuda ben Nisiya. My see what's meant from the following pasuk. Videi Adam mitachas kanfeim. The hands of Adam, the malachim, the chayos who are carrying the chariot of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's depicted in the Yirmiyahu of Yechezkel. It states over there that the hands of the malachim were like hands of Adam that were underneath their kanfeim, their wings. Now there's a kri and a ksiv. We just read the kri, but it's written differently. The pasuk, although again it's stated, it's read Videi Adam, but it's written Vav Yud Dalid Vav, Yadoi, singular. So the Gemara makes a drasha, Yadoi Ksiv. Since it's written Yadoi, his hand, it's referred to Hashem's hand. Ze Yadoi Shakadosh Baruch Hu. Sheporsoi Tachas, Sheprusa Tachas Kanfei HaChayos, which is spread out underneath the wings of the Chayos. Kedei Lekabel Balei Tshuva Midei Midas Hadin. Rabbi Yehuda Mashmuel, Kol Kesef Vezov Sheba'olam Yosef Liktoi Vehevio LeMitzrayim. All of the gold and silver in the world, Yosef HaTzadik, he gathered it together in Mitzrayim. During the famine, everybody came forward and were desperate for food. Yosef, he then collected all the gold and silver in the world and he brought to Mitzrayim. Shneimar says, Vayilaket Yosef es kol HaKesef hanimtzo. The pasuk reads, "Vayilaki Yosef kol hakesef hanimtzo be'eretz Mitzrayim ube'eretz Canaan b'sheva asher heim shoivim vayove Yosef es hakesef beis paroi." So says the Gemara, "Ein li ela shebe'eretz Mitzrayim." I only know be'eretz Mitzrayim v'shebe'eretz Canaan, like it says explicitly in the pasuk that we just read, that Yosef HaTzadik, he gathered all of the kesef that were found in Eretz Mitzrayim, Eretz Canaan. Bishar Arotzim Minayim, but where do you know the rest of the world? Says the Gemara, Talmud Lamer v'kol ha'aretz bo Mitzrayim. All of the people of the lands came to Mitzrayim. Kshe'olu Yisrael Mitzrayim he'elu imohen. When Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim, they left with Rechush Gadol. That Rechush Gadol consisted of all the gold and silver that Yosef HaTzadik collected. Shneimar says, Vayinatzlu es Mitzrayim. They emptied out Mitzrayim from all of their wealth. Rav Asi said, Asu kimitzuda zu shein ba dagon. They made it like a mitzuda, this trap, a trap that was empty of even the type of dagon that you would use to trap types of birds. It was that empty. They didn't have that. There's a play on the word mitzuda. The word meinatzlu, the lamed and the dalid are interchangeable. So therefore, this type of net, even that was empty of the dagon that would be then used to trap birds. Rabbi Shimon Omar, Kimitzula she'ein badogim, a different comparison. It's also play on the word vayinatzlu, kimitzula, like the depths that doesn't even have fish. It's so deep in the waters. That's how empty Klal Yisrael made Mitzrayim. V'hoya munach ad Rechavam, and it remained in the hands of Klal Yisrael until Rechavam. Shishak melech Mitzrayim v'notlu miRechavam. The king of Egypt, Shishak, took it then, all that wealth from Rechavam. On the 5th year of Rechavam's rule, Allah Shishak melech Mitzrayim al Yushalayim. He came and he conquered Yushalayim. Vayikach as oitzrois beis Hashem. He took the treasures in the house of Hashem. Ves oitzrois beis HaMelech, and the treasures of the house of the Melech. Bo zorach melech Kush v'not loy mi Shishak. Then the Melech Kush took it from Shishak. Bo aso v'not lo mizerach melech Kush. The Shigur lahadrimoin ben Tavrimoin. Then Aso took it from Zerach, the king of Cush, and he sent it to Hadrimoin ben Tavrimoin. Bo bnei Amoin v'not loim mehadrimoin ben Tavrimoin. Then the children of Ammon, the people of Ammon, took it. Bo Yehoshaphat v'not loim bnei Ammon. Yehoshaphat then took it from the children of Ammon. V'hayamunach ad Achaz. And it remained until Achaz. Bo Sancherev v'not loy me Achaz. Sancherev came and he took it from Achaz. Bo Chizkiah v'not loy me Sancherev. Chizkiah Melech Yehuda then took it from Sancherev. V'hayamunach ad Tzidkiah, and it remained in the hand possession of Klal Yisrael until Tzidkiah Melech. Bo Kazdim v'not lo mitzidkiah, referring to Nebuchadnezzar from Churban Bayis Rishon. Then he took all of that wealth. Bo Parsim v'not lo mikazdim, here referring to the Persian Empire. And Modai, who then overcame and conquered the Kazdim, Nebuchadnezzar, and they took all the wealth. Bo Yevonim v'natlu mifarsim, Alexander the Great came and he took it from the Persians. Bo Ramim v'natlu miyad Yevonim, the Romans then took it from the hands of the Greeks. V'adayim munach b'roimi, and the Gemara concludes that it still remains in the hands of the Romans. Rabbi Chama bar Chanino, sholosh matmoinim hit min Yosef in Mitzrayim. There are 3 treasures that Yosef HaTzadik hid in Mitzrayim. Achas nizgala leKorach. One was revealed to Korach. Ve'achas nizgala leAntoninos ben Asverus. One was revealed to Antoninos, who ended up being the Talmud of Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda HaNasi. Ve'achas genuzo latzadikin la'asi lavo. And the 3rd treasure that he hid is going to then be revealed only to the tzaddikim la'asi lavoy. Gemara says, Oisher shomur lebala leraso, brings a pasuk and states that the oisher, the wealth, will be protected, and that will be the downfall, that will be the raw, the bad for the owner. Rabbi Shimon Lakish zu osro shel Korach. It's a reference to Korach. Because of his wealth, he became then entangled in the machlekes against Moshe v'Aaron. Take a look at the Rashbam. Zu asher shel Korach, she'al yidei roiv ma'moinoi nizgoeh. He became haughty. V'nitrod min ha'olam. As a result, he made a machlekes, and he then lost his olam haba. Gemara goes on to say, shenemar ves hayikum asher b'ragleim. This is all the wealth that was by their feet. He darshans, Yikum is that from the word kam. It causes a person to be mamid, the wealth causes a person to be mamid al raglov. And therefore, that's the reference to over here, makes the drasha as kol Yikum. Rabbi Levi masoi sholosh mois Prodois levonois hayu maftechos beis gnazov shel Korach. Gemara goes down back and recalls or tells us about the great wealth of Korach, what that wealth looked like. It required 300 loads of donkeys. These are white mules that had maftechos of beis gnazov shel Korach, that were carrying the keys to the treasuries of the house of Korach. And the Gemara describes v'kulu aklidei, all of these maftechos, all of these keys, the klipi, and all of these locks, The golda, they were made out of leather. In other words, even though they were not iron, and they're much more there for light, nonetheless it required 300 of these white mules to carry them. That's how wealthy Karach was, and that was his own downfall.